Okay, now that we've established our tower pad profile, we need to create the tower yard profile. And we'll do that by projecting a 1% slope away from the tower pad in all directions so we can establish the elevations for the tower yard, which is this green element here. So to do that, we must open up a new profile model so we can see what the existing ground looks like. So we'll go up to Open Profile Model. We'll select the tower yard element, left click, and then down here in the profile model in view 4, we'll left click in there to open up the profile model of the tower yard. So what we want to do is project our slopes from the tower pad to the tower yard element so we can get a profile of the tower yard. So we'll go up to vertical, we'll look at the profile by slope from element, which will allow us to perform some slope projections. So let's select profile by slope from element. Want to make sure we set our feature definition to site yard, and the name's going to be tower yard. And then it's going to ask us to locate first element to profile. So we're going to come over here and select the tower yard, and we're going to right click to accept. And then locate our reference element. Our reference element is going to be our tower pad. And then we want to key in our slope. So how do we want to perform these slope projections? We want to do 1%. Press enter to lock in the value. And we want to left click to accept. Point adjustment selection, we'll set that for all. Profile adjustment we'll set for none. Vertical adjustment we'll set for 0. And now notice what you'll see is down here in the profile model, you'll see the newly created profile has been created based off a 1% projection of slopes from the tower pad. Now you'll also notice in the 3D view it doesn't show up, and again, to make it show up in 3D we have to set this as the active profile. So I'm going to go and to my element selector here, I'm going to select my profile, and from the context sensitive menu I'm going to select set as active profile, and then now the tower yard shows up. So now we have the tower yard defined in 3D as well as the tower pad. Before we continue, I just want to point out something about my 3D view here. The display settings right now are set for illustration, ignore lighting. So when these 3D features are drawn, they show up as filled elements. They're actually not solids or meshes. And if you turn the wireframe on, I can show you how it truly looks. So if we go over to the display style, and we go down here to wireframe, you'll see they're just 3D features. They're not meshes or anything like that. So I just wanted to point that out in case you were thinking that maybe this was already a mesh or a terrain of some sort. It's just a 3D feature line drawn over here in the 3D view. And the other thing I'd like to point out is I have the Model Explorer open over here, the Open Roads model. And in the Open Roads Model Explorer, this organizes and manages all the civil data that's created inside of the DGN file. So as you create things, they get populated into each one of these categories over here on the left-hand side, and everything's managed and organized in a logical fashion. And by right-clicking on any of the elements in the OpenRoads model here will give you access to other tools as well. So it's pretty useful if you want to work with the OpenRoads Model Explorer to view your civil data as well as gain access to some other tools. So it's just another option